Alright, picture this. The Dragon's Den, a proper tattoo parlor, not one of those sterile IKEA-furnished joints. No, this place had character. The walls, covered in flash art, band posters, and bizarre taxidermy. The air, thick with the scent of ink, sweat, and faint desperation. Our main man, Vinny the Vicious Vincetti, a burly bloke with more ink than bare skin, ruled this den. His hands, calloused and scarred, could coax art from flesh like Michelangelo on a bender. Today's canvas? A fiery redhead named Brenda, all dolled up like a punk rock princess. She wanted a dragon, see? Not just any dragon, mind you. This bad boy was gonna wrap around her entire back, spitting fire and warding off bad vibes. Ambitious, sure, but Vinny, he lived for this kind of challenge. Brenda, you see, wasn't new to the needle. Her back was already a tapestry of faded butterflies, misspelled tributes to ex-lovers, and what looked suspiciously like a drunken attempt at a self-portrait. Cover-up job, Vinny muttered, tracing the contours of her back with a gloved finger. Always gotta watch out for the bloody butterflies. Cover-ups were like therapy, forcing Vinny to confront the ghosts of bad decisions past. But he was up for it, armed with his trusty needles and a bottomless well of sarcastic wit. Hours bled into each other as Vinny worked, the buzz of the tattoo machine providing a rhythmic soundtrack to the chaos unfolding outside. He outlined the dragon first, a sinuous beast, all scales and fury. Brenda, bless her soul, was tough as nails. She didn't flinch, not even when Vinny had to dig deep to cover up a particularly tragic rendering of a dolphin leaping over a sunset. As the dragon took shape, so did the tension in the room. The air grew thick with it, a palpable weight settling over everyone present. Even Vinny's usual banter died down, replaced by the steady hum of the machine and Brenda's increasingly shallow breaths. The silence was broken only by the occasional gasp of pain from Brenda, each one a stark reminder of the permanence of the art being etched onto her skin. 7 hours and countless cigarettes later, the masterpiece was complete. The dragon, resplendent in its fiery glory, stretched across Brenda's back. Vinny, sweat dripping from his brow, admired his handiwork. There you have it, love, a work of art. Brenda, eyes wide with awe, stumbled to her feet. It's perfect, she breathed, tracing the outline of the dragon with shaky fingers. How much do I owe you? And then it hit. The awkward silence, the shifting of feet, the sudden realization that Brenda's purse was looking awfully empty. Right, she mumbled, her face draining of color. About that. See, I thought I had more money on me and my card seems to be misplaced. Section 5, frantic calls and mounting tension, the search for funds. What followed was a masterclass in avoidance tactics. Brenda, bless her cotton socks, tried every trick in the book. My boyfriend's got cash. He's just parked down the street, guarding the Queen's jewels. Phone calls were made. Excuses were thrown around like confetti at a budget wedding. Vinny, meanwhile, felt his blood pressure rise faster than the price of ink in a recession. He'd seen it all before, the desperate attempts to dodge the bill. He even had a special drawer for IOUs, most of them worth less than the paper they were written on. But this was a new level of audacity. Love, Vinny said, his voice dangerously calm. I've got a business to run, and dragons to feed. Now unless your boyfriend's riding in on a unicorn with a saddlebag full of gold, we've got a problem. Section 6. Mayhem in the midst of masterpieces. A cacophony of chaos. The situation, like a poorly drawn tattoo, deteriorated rapidly. Brenda's boyfriend, a skinny bloke with more piercings than sense, finally showed up. He didn't have cash. He did, however, have an opinion. A loud, obnoxious opinion that involved a lot of finger-pointing and accusations of price gouging. As if things couldn't get any worse, Brenda's best friend, Tiffany, arrived. Tiffany, known for her questionable life choices and even more questionable taste in men, immediately sided with the boyfriend. The tattoo parlor, once a haven of creativity, now resembled a scene from a low-budget reality TV show. Just when Vinny thought he'd heard it all, a random bloke sauntered in off the street, drawn by the commotion. He took one look at the unfolding drama, a slow grin spreading across his face. You know, he drawled, I've always wanted a dragon tattoo. Section 7. The boyfriend, the best friend, and the bouncer. Now, Vinny was a patient man. He dealt with more drama in a day than a soap opera writer in a month. But even saints have their limits. And Vinny, despite his artistic talents, wasn't exactly known for his saintly patience. "All right, that's it!" he roared, his voice booming through the parlor. "Everyone out! Now! The boyfriend, emboldened by Tiffany's unwavering and slightly alarming support, puffed out his chest. You can't make us do anything, mate. We know our rights. Vinny, without a word, grabbed the nearest bottle of green soap. The stuff smelled like a mix of disinfectant and despair. He brandished it like a weapon, a manic glint in his eye. The effect was immediate. The boyfriend, suddenly realizing he didn't actually want to be covered in green goo, backed down. Tiffany, ever the loyal friend, grabbed his hand and dragged him out of the parlor, leaving a trail of muttered insults in their wake. Section 8. Resolution? Justice? Nah, just a regular day at the Dragon's Den. Brenda, bless her chaotic little heart, was in tears. I'm so sorry, Vinny, I'll get you your money, I promise, she wailed, clutching her purse like a life raft. Vinny, his anger fading as quickly as it had come, sighed. He'd been through this song and dance before. Look, love, he said, his voice softening, just bring me the cash when you can, and maybe lay off the dodgy boyfriends, eh? And that, as they say, was that. Brenda, with a final sniffle and a promise to return with the money, scurried out of the parlor. The random bloke who'd wandered in, still grinning like a loon, shrugged and took a seat. So, about that dragon tattoo? Section 9. The aftermath, shaking heads and inked tails. Life at the Dragon's Den returned to its usual brand of chaotic normalcy. Vinny, ever the artist, continued to transform skin into canvases, each tattoo telling a story. And Brenda? Well, she did eventually return, a week later, with the money and a sheepish apology. She even brought Vinny a peace offering, a dozen jelly donuts, his weakness. Heard you had a bit of a day, she mumbled, avoiding his gaze. Vinny just chuckled, shaking his head. Don't worry, love. It takes more than a few deadbeats and a near miss with green soap to break this old dragon. And with that, he took a bite of a donut, the sugar rush a welcome distraction from the everyday madness of life in the den. After all, in the world of ink and artistry, every day was an adventure, and every client, a story waiting to be told.